Well, welcome back to Sports Chat with Nat. I'm Nat, and Master T is off somewhere saving lives. But we got a special guest today, y'all. This is Coach Jackson, assistant coach at Tuskegee, a baseball coach. Y'all know I love football and basketball, but I do know a little bit about baseball, and I love all sports. So we want to welcome Coach Jackson to Sports Chat with Nat. Welcome, Coach Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to today.
Well, we sure appreciate you. Now, as I've said, now baseball. The only thing I really know about baseball, I know it's in the summertime. They start in the wintertime. They go all the way through the summer to the fall. And since I've been here in Atlanta, I've met Ben House. Are you familiar with Ben House?
Yes, definitely. We're actually going to do camp in the morning at Jonesboro High School.
So now, how long have you been involved with baseball in general, just in general, before we get into your coaching?
Oh boy, so 40 years. I played Little League baseball, high school baseball, and I played collegiately at Alabama State University. And so
Okay.
after playing baseball, I retired from the military, and after the military, I decided to get back to baseball and help the generation. My son's a baseball player, was actually drafted by the Atlanta Braves out of high school in 2022, Christian Jackson, and he'll be going back to minor league ball actually next week to play some more. So when he came along, I knew I wanted to coach and train him, and then I just wanted to help all the kids in the local area as well. And that's actually Ben House. So Ben House and I have been working together for quite some time, and we're actually going to do a camp tomorrow morning at Jonesboro High School. It's going to be like 180 kids there. So he asked me to come out and assist with that camp.
It just warms my heart because I know where I grew up, sports is huge. And we had Pee Wee baseball, Charles Peak Little League in Portsmouth, Virginia. And baseball was everything to us growing up. So and that started at the Pee Wee level. So I was exposed to baseball early on. But I see you are assistant coach at Tuskegee. Now Norfolk State had a pretty good basketball coach. I was getting ready to call his name right off the top. I can see it. Marty Miller, if I'm not mistaken, was the coach back in the 70s, early 80s. Marty Miller at Norfolk State in Norfolk, Virginia. So how is it now in the 2000s and 2024 coaching baseball at a HBCU?
It's very exciting. You know, the challenge at Tuskegee is considered one of the Black Ivy League schools, so it's challenging to get in. And so the biggest challenge is to find guys with the academic prowess as well as the athletic skills that can actually help us. So in recruiting, we may find a kid that's really good with baseball, but then he falls short academically. So we're just trying to find a kid that has both.
Okay. Now, do you find that the recruiting is it mostly in state, or do you find yourself having to go out of state or even out of the country? How is that working?
Yeah, definitely out of state, all over. Because a lot of times we have the request from the individuals. We'll ask for them some video, and then we'll go out and kind of watch them play live and see if it's a good fit for the both of us. And typically we find them a lot in Georgia because Georgia is considered one of the hubs where you find most of the good baseball players in the country. California is another, as well as Florida, Texas. So if we can find them there, that's great. But then there are a lot of good players in Alabama and really all over. A lot of them will be diamonds in the rough. So that's why scouting is so important. You got to go find them, but they're, you know.
I went to the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame just last week or so, a couple of weeks ago. And I was just impressed with all of the baseball players that I saw. Like I said, one was drafted from out of the country at age 15, I believe it was, and he played for the Braves. And then you got so many others from these little teeny small towns that you never heard of. And they're in the Hall of Fame because they had these outstanding baseball careers. And I'm like, I've never heard of these towns. So it just was fascinating. I didn't even take many pictures because sometimes you can get so lost in the moment, and I was. And so to be able to talk to you right now after that experience, I'm so excited. So now, how many games do you guys play in collegiate HBCU baseball?
Somewhere between 50 and about 65, depending on how many we put on the schedule. We played a little over 50 last year.
And how'd y'all do? I didn't get a chance to look up your record.
We did okay. We got a lot of recruiting we had to do. This is Coach Hall's second year. Chadwick Hall is the head coach, and this was my first year. So we just put together good recruiting summer this off season. So we're looking to have a much better season going forward, which is the expectation. When you start with a new program, you got to build it. Well, new coaching, I mean, you got to build it.
Now, as African American, probably the only one or two names I know in baseball is what, Hank Aaron and Griffey and one or two more. What's the other guy? Not many. So
Right.
it's hard for us. I don't know if it's do we can, I know we can play it. Are the numbers getting better? Are the numbers getting better for us in baseball?
Not necessarily. The time it takes to develop a baseball player, typically your dad had to be a baseball player because it's the hardest sport to learn to play. One thing about
Okay.
basketball, you can go to the local recreation park, and say, hey, I've got keep playing all day and actually improve your skills just from playing at a local park. The baseball,
Okay.
you actually have to have somebody that has the knowledge to teach you how to throw it correctly, somebody to throw to you, hit to you. Those type of skills, it's hard to find that in a dad that didn't play baseball. Most of us play basketball somewhere. Most of us played a little touch, if not tackle football somewhere. So it's a lot easier for those. But baseball is very, very hard if you don't have a father, godfather, a trainer, somebody that can train you. And because it's so expensive too, training is very expensive for baseball. And I know you may not have heard of travel baseball, but when we were coming up, it was recreational balls. We play about 10 games over the summer. Now they play
Mhm.
the 80 games over the summer, and it costs you about $3,500 to be on,
Wait a minute. How many games they play over the summer now?
like 80 games in the summer. They play 4 or 5 games a week, and they're traveling all over the place. So if you don't have a lot of money, that's why a lot of us, African Americans, don't play a lot of travel ball because it's very expensive to play.
So is that sort of like AAU travel basketball? Is it
Okay.
sort of like that? Oh, okay. Because my daughter played AAU travel basketball, and that was very expensive. Yeah. Okay. So now, what Mr. House does, what Ben does at Showcase. Now, are there scholarships, or is that one of the ways that you guys give back to the community to help get some more African Americans into baseball?
Definitely, definitely. I do training. I do a lot of helping. I've actually sponsored quite a few kids to go to showcases. A lot of the showcases, $700. It's like a weekend where they do all your, test all your skills. And over that weekend, it costs you $700 to go. So I've sponsored quite a few kids, actually the whole thing for 10, 12 kids just to go and be a part of the showcase once I see that they had the talent, but the parents didn't have the money. And then when I
Well,
help, yeah, get scholarships, same thing. I get on, I use my reputation, help kids get scholarships to college the same way without charging the parents anything. So yeah, we have to give back a lot in order to make sure some of our kids get opportunity.
and sometimes we think it has to be a certain thing or a certain way, but it's not. We all have a little bit. He gives us all a little bit to give back. So now, with that being said, switching to the major league with the All-Star game coming up, I did just see an article today about this Paul Skees, drafted number one, and now an All-Star, his first year. Uh, How's baseball looking to you this year? I know the Braves seem to be doing pretty good every year, and then I look up, they went on first place last year. Then as soon as the playoffs came, next thing I know, I looked up, they off, they done.
Yeah, what the challenge of baseball is the talent, So if you've got talent, all the coaches look good, the organization looks good, everything looks great until your star players start getting hurt. Now, once they get hurt, then you realize coaching is much tougher than you think. And so that's what happened. Brave superstars got hurt,
Okay,
and their best player, Ron Acuna, when he got hurt, it made it very difficult to replace him. And then Michael
okay.
Harris, local superstar, he got hurt, and kind of the same thing. So just trying to figure out who they can put in replace of those individuals makes it very challenging because talent is talent. When you're really good, it's hard to replace that. So that's what's happening with the Braves this year. You say Mitchell Paul Keynes guy, he's very good. He was at Air Force first. They went to LSU. Guy throws 100 an hour and he can control it.
How
Strikes,
many miles an hour?
throws 100, sometimes 101. So he's very good, strong. It's hard for those hit it because it's coming so fast. Throws a
Yeah.
So he keeps them off balance. He can throw one pitch a little slower, one pitch a little faster, so you don't know what's coming. And the guy's phenomenal. He's the best that I've seen in a long time.
So who else would you say is looking good this year in baseball?
Uh, I guess pro guy wise, like I said, a lot of them are hurt that would normally look good, and so we
Okay.
just figure out who's stepping in those spots. Well, a lot of the minor leaguers, I like a minor league guy named Chandler Simpson. He's in the minor, and I think he's actually one of the best, if not the best, minor league player. Comes kind of actually trained with a buddy of mine, Joe Austin, back in the day. Joe Austin, like a local legend of training high school players that go on and get drafted right out of high school to college. And Chandler Simpson's one of those guys. He's looking really good. Batting average 100 is considered good in baseball. And Chandler bats close to 400, so he's actually out hitting everybody in the minor league, and just looking to see him continue to move up the ranks, and hopefully we'll see him in the majors pretty soon here.
Now, do you have anybody on your team that you'd like to shout out that you see as being outstanding? Anything that you want to say about any of your players or any players you've come in contact with over the years?
Right, definitely. I have a kid, two or several, but Rodney Mudd, one of those guys with good academics. He can play outfield, he can pitch, he can hit. He helps us out quite a bit. Ryan Morrow is another. He was our best hitter last year. And then we got a kid by the name of Scott Williams. Scott Williams has been training with me for quite some time, and he's getting better and better hitting home runs. He really loves the game. So I would say those three off the top of my head, they've helped us out quite a bit.
Okay. Now, Coach Jackson, that's one little thing that I do every time I interview someone. I give them an opportunity to just say whatever you'd like to say to the parents, to the ball players, to anybody. It's your time to say whatever you'd like to say to those that you have their ear right now.
Okay. Well, the most important thing, making sure the kids are very, very good classroom. That's really the most important thing. It's hard to get scholarships if you don't have over a 3.0 GPA. You need to have at least an 18, a 900, 950 in order to get the scholarship. So really spend a lot of time. And if baseball is something that you really want to do, you have to get with a really good baseball trainer in life, like 8 years old, 9 years old, and find the best in your local community, and make sure they're very reputable. Then let them train your son, because that's what they're going to do. And then make sure if they father figures, brothers, somebody, make sure they're getting that training as well. Because baseball is one of those things like basketball. You got to do it every day. You can't just do it every 2 or 3 days a week. You got to do it almost 7 days a week. So you have to get some really good trainers to train your son if you want baseball to be. You just can't go to practice twice. Coach calls a practice and think your son's going to play baseball. It doesn't work. You got to really, really practice and train really hard to play baseball.
All right, so we want to thank you, Coach Jackson, for joining us today to just talk to us a little bit about baseball and Sports Chat with Nats fans. Listen, y'all know I love baseball. I mean, football and all that, but baseball is out there, and we got to get into baseball too. So we got Coach Jackson. Y'all know I've been talking to Ben ever since I've been on the air 3 years now. So Ben been with me the whole time. He just confirmed that he knows Ben. So look, I'm in good company. Coach Jackson, we thank you so much for joining us on Sports Chat with Nat. Keep up with me. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and check the notification so you won't miss us. You don't want to miss interviews like this with Coach Jackson, and you don't know who he know and who somebody else know. And we might just be talking to anybody, anytime. You don't want to miss it. Thank y'all. See y'all next time. Bye, y'all.